Why I prefer to be New Age. Well, the reason I'm making this video right now, what inspired me is I just got done watching a video on YouTube by Mark Passio. I think that's his name. But anyway, I heard some things that that really turned me off, and I won't listen to him anymore. The reason, because things were twisted. Now, actually, does he actually believe what he's saying? I don't know, but I've seen it before. But one thing he was mentioning is that New Agers believe that there is no truth. Well, there is no truth, and that there is a truth. The fact that the way that there is no truth is that today we have wars, we have hatred, we have divisions because of religion. In Christianity alone, there is over 33,000 different Christian sects. Islam has about 150 different sects. Buddhism about 5 or 6 different sects. And especially in Christianity, and I assume Islam. I don't have a lot of contact with Islam people. I've studied it, but especially in Christianity, they all think they have the truth. And in the United States, the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, rode around with waving a Bible up in the air, hanging innocent black people from trees, and burning crosses in front yards in the name of Jesus. And they claim they have the truth. So that's what we mean by there is no truth. The doctrine is not important. But what truth there is that is very important is that today, from what I heard last time, the statistics, it may have changed, but I have to check it again, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty accurate. About 60% of the world's population lives without running water and in poverty. About 70% of the world's wealth belongs to 1% of the population. And that 1% are pretty much people with an addiction. I'm not saying every single one of them, but a money addiction. And they're pretty intelligent and know how to get it and gain power over other people. Now that's wrong. The truth that we have is something, one person who is, I'm going to use him in this example, he's on my shirt, Jesus Christ. I'm going to use him as an example. The reason why is because I call him the international teacher. And the Buddhist, Islam, Christianity, and Hindu all believe that he was divine or divinely inspired. And he taught us exactly how to live. Now, I personally don't, this is my own personal beliefs, and if somebody else believes that and you're practicing spiritual principles, it's okay. I've done research on origins of Bible stories and stuff like that, and I don't exactly agree with what the church teaches, but it's not important. I have seen some outstanding Christian examples, and some that even inspired me, that set such fine examples. And if that's what works for them, that's what they should keep doing. And I've also seen some examples where they could be very, very cold-hearted. Some people from Christian churches, and very cruel, and feeling that they're superior and totally destroying and attacking the well-being and an emotional and social way of somebody else. So that's where we say there's no truth. The truth is that if we all lived in love and compassion, if we all loved one another, if we made sure that 60% of the population was taken care of, if we stood up and did what was right, we all lived in one. There's a documentary that I absolutely love. It's called Happy. You can see it on Netflix. I think you can see the scenes from it on YouTube. I don't think the whole thing is on YouTube, but you can see scenes from it. And that's exactly right what they're talking about. They did research on happiness. If we all lived in a way that we had compassion towards one another, we would have happiness for ourselves. When we find out that if we take care of those in need, we're taking care of ourselves. That's the truth, the spiritual principles they all have in common. And Jesus taught them, the Buddha taught them, and Muhammad taught them also. And some people may argue, oh no, Muhammad taught to kill. No, you don't know that. People don't know that. I studied Islam, and for the longest time I thought that Muslims did not believe in Jesus, period. But I believe Muhammad was definitely divinely inspired, as well as Jesus and Buddha. But it's not important. What is important is the spiritual principles. That's the one truth. What New Agers mean, and I prefer to be a New Ager, is that there's no truth, is that there's no particular one doctrine that is the exact doctrine, and the doctrine is not important at all. What is important is the spiritual principles that people share in common. Those spiritual principles work. So that's what we mean by no truth. Now, is there an exact truth? I personally believe in other dimensions. I believe more in the New Age belief, and some of it's been proven, some of it has not. And if we find out the parts that has not been proven is wrong, then I'll just change my belief. But I'm going to hang on to the spiritual principles. Now, self-love. That's another thing I heard him talk about. You know, that self-love means that we love ourselves, and you know and we can empower ourselves to be selfish and whatever. That's absolutely not true. If you look at the world and the society we live in, many of the problems are caused by people who have a very low self-esteem and no self-love for themselves at all. They're so desperate because we are made to cooperate with one another. It mentions that in the documentary Happy, which is a scientific documentary. We are made to cooperate with one another, to live as one, to be a family. But what we're taught in the world today is to be very insecure. And Christianity, I've noticed that about a lot of Christians, and not all of them, but that they're very insecure. And we have bullies in school. When when somebody goes into school and they're being a bully, a kid is being a bully, they're doing it because they're very insecure. We also have adult bullies. And how are they adult bullies? Well, you get in and you hear the gossip. You know, he did this and he did that, and they want to assassinate somebody's character. And not try to help him. What the kid says, oh wow, he needs some help, you know, let's love him. Which does occasionally happen. And it's happening more and more because of this time we're in. We're starting to awaken. But some will assassinate a character, and I've even seen people make up lies. And because they're so insecure about themselves. They have no self-love. Now if they love themselves and had self-confidence, they would not need to attack somebody else. And what we mean by self-love, what I mean by self-love, which is very important that I have it in order for me to do well, self-confidence, self-love. Self-love is that I'm a good person because I go out and help other people. I have self-love. I love myself because I believe that I am a good person. And if I'm making a mistake or had some flaw, then I need to work on changing that. Now, not self-love is, and this is complete opposite of self-love, is that I'm the number one. I'm the best. I'm the best football player. I'm the best singer. I'm superior and everybody else is under me. And when I walk around, they better know that I'm the best. That is the opposite of self-love. You know, that's not self-love at all. That is a way of dealing with a hidden insecurity. So that's what we mean by self-love. It's very important to be confident. People who are confident accomplish many things. People who love themselves love other people. People who treat themselves good treat other people good. So that is the very, very important thing about self-love. You know, so that's what we mean by that, by self-love. Another reason why I prefer to be a New Ager is I live myself. I live my life in some very, very severe pain. More than you can imagine. And when I say more than you can imagine, I don't know what's inside other people's heads. Maybe there was a lot of people like that, and there probably was some. But it was necessary for me to learn from. You know, I've made many mistakes, and I've had to learn from them. But something happened around the end of 2012, and I think that it's just the date is just coincidence. It's just a coincidental thing because other people have had their spiritual awakenings at different times. But anyway, I've always been against racism. Martin Luther King Jr. has always been one of my heroes, but I've always been against racism. And I tried very, very hard to learn to speak Spanish and got pretty far in it. I studied my butt off. But anyway, I just completely stopped. And around 2006, 2007, I didn't speak it again. And then all of a sudden, at the end of 2012, something just totally crazy happened to me. And I've never heard of a New Ager. I didn't know who they were. I've heard like of New Age music and stuff, but I didn't know the details. I've never heard of an indigo or anything like that. And but anyway, something really crazy happened to me, and I had this enormous spiritual awakening. All of a sudden, I could speak Spanish again. Sometimes so well that people would ask me where I'm from. They couldn't put their finger on my accent. And other times when I would get a big head and have an ego pop up, not so well. But I still practice every day. But anyway, that huge, enormous spiritual awakening happened, spiritual experience. I told my friend, and it was before I quit drinking. It caused me to quit drinking. By February 2013, I had quit drinking. I checked myself into rehab and hadn't drank since then. But anyway, it was so powerful. I went to a Catholic priest, and he had no idea. You know, he was just totally lost. Now, does that mean all Catholic priests are like that? I don't know. You know, I don't think so. I mean, you know, I know that some have done some great things. But and I went to a psychiatrist and asked him about it, and the psychiatrist really didn't say much, but he said, keep going to Alcoholics Anonymous. And at that time, I had not quit. And but anyway, before I even knew what anything was going on, I sat down and just out of the blue was inspired with all this spirituality, and I told my friend, I said, it's time for God to reach mankind again, but this time not through one person, but through many. And but anyway, that's just what I said. Am I out to stop Christianity? Am I out to stop Islam? Absolutely not. You know, if somebody has found a way to work the spiritual principles and get that spiritual connection, and they do it with their religion, then I'm all for it. I'm not out to stop that at all. And I don't think anybody else in New Age is either. But what we would like to see is the stop of the hate towards one another, and the warfare and hatred because of different beliefs and sects. Religion causes division and hatred, and people to not be in unity, but to be separated over things that they're really ignorant about. But anyway, just like as a Pentecostal, you know, I believe in other dimensions, and I believe in angels. I believe in spiritual guides because I've had experiences, and they will even contact you. I mean, communicate with you. Now, I've never heard words, but we can do it like by feelings. And sometimes if we're going through a problem, we'll open a book and it's like, wow, man, that's exactly what I need to hear. But just like Plato, I mean, there's a book over there, and the book has an atom. It's made of atoms. My finger is made of atoms. If I took away or added protons, if I took away or added neutrons, if I took away or added electrons, I can make the atom in the book like an atom in my finger. Change it to something else. My finger and that book are made of the same thing. You break it down even further, it's made of energy. Now, we can just take Plato and move it around. You know, we cannot do that with atoms, but a higher life form could. And so it's, you know, if everything's made of energy, it's not so crazy to believe something like that. But if what I believe is about some things is proven wrong, I don't know. Just like a Pentecostal rolls around on the floor and speaks in tongues, whether they do or not, I don't know, but it's not important. Whether they speak in tongues or not is important. What is important is the spiritual principles that everybody shares together. But that's why I prefer to be a New Ager.